Welcome, brave souls, to the fire's flickering light, where shadows dance and whispers of the unknown drift on the wind. I'm Sam Hain, your guide through the eerie tales that haunt the darkest corners of your imagination. Tonight, we gather around the flames to uncover stories that will chill your bones, make your heart race, and keep you looking over your shoulder. From ancient legends to ghastly encounters, these tales are not for the faint of heart. So, stoke the fire, lean in close, and prepare yourself for a journey into the realm of the strange and the sinister. Are you ready to be afraid? Let the storytelling begin. The wind shrieked through the broken windows of Dunraven Manor, its crumbling walls blackened by centuries of neglect. High on the Scottish cliffs, the manor loomed like a dying giant, its silhouette twisting under the weight of gathering storm clouds. "You're sure this is the place?" Callum's voice was barely a whisper, his breath fogged in the bitter night air, as he and his friends, Liam, Ewan and Ross, stood at the rusted iron gates, staring up at the decaying beast before them. "I told you, didn't I?" Liam's tone carried false bravado. "It's just a house. We go in, grab a few picks, and prove we're not scared like the others." But the others, those who dared speak of Dunraven Manor, had warned them of strange lights in the windows, footsteps echoing in the empty halls, and an ancient curse tied to the land. The boys scoffed at the rumours, but standing there now, before the manor's gaping maw of an entrance, the weight of those stories pressed down hard. "Come on," Ross urged, pushing the gate open. It screeched in protest, the sound like a wail setting their nerves on edge. The floorboards groaned under their feet as they stepped into the manor's shadowed foyer. The air was thick with dampness, the smell of rot, and something worse. Something metallic. Something that made the hairs on the back of their necks prickle. "Smells like death in here," Ewan muttered. But it wasn't just a smell, there was something else. A presence. Like the walls themselves were closing in, hungry and waiting. "Let's check upstairs," Liam stammered, trying to keep the tremble out of his voice. He moved ahead, others following reluctantly. As they ascended the grand staircase, the temperature plummeted, the boys' breath came in shaky, visible puffs, and their hands shook from more than just the cold. Every step felt heavier, like the stairs themselves were dragging them deeper into something they couldn't escape. The door at the far end of the upstairs hall caught their attention. It was newer than the rest of the manor, freshly painted, with no dust or wear like the others. "That wasn't in any of the pictures," Callum said, his voice tight. Liam hesitated, his hand hovered over the doorknob. "We came this far, we need to see." The door swung open with an eerie smoothness. Inside was a small, unlit room, its only feature an old wooden chair in the centre. It faced away from them, but the walls were adorned with strange carvings, jagged, chaotic symbols that seemed to pulse in the dim light of their flashlights. As soon as they crossed the threshold, the door slammed shut behind them with a force that rattled the walls. "Rise!" Ross yelled, rushing to the door, but it wouldn't budge. It stuck. Suddenly the whispers began. At first, they were faint, like the wind scraping against stone, but they quickly grew louder, voices overlapping, frantic, demanding. The carvings on the walls seemed to move, shifting in the flickering light, becoming more menacing, more alive. What is it?" Ewan's voice cracked as the chair began to creak, slowly turning toward them. In the chair sat a figure, draped in tattered robes, its back hunched, hands curled over the arms of the seat. Its head was lowered, and a hood obscured its face. But they could hear it breathing, a slow, rattling sound, like air escaping a dying man's lungs. "We need to get out of here," Callum said, his voice urgent, his hands shaking as he pulled the door. Now. Liam turned, his heart pounding in his chest. What is that thing? The figure's head jerked upwards, revealing a pale, skeletal face. Its eyes nothing more than sunken hollow. It opened its mouth, and the whispers ceased. You trespassed, the figure rasped, its voice barely more than a croak, but filled with malice. I have waited so long. Ewan bolted toward the door, slamming his shoulder into it in desperation. But the door wouldn't give, nothing did. The room was locked, sealing them in. We didn't mean to, Liam stammered. We were just... Stay, the figure hissed, rising slowly from the chair, its body unfurled with the unnatural grace, limbs bending and cracking in sickening ways. You will stay and feed the hunger. Suddenly, the symbols on the walls began to glow, their jagged shapes pulsing like a heartbeat. The air thickened, becoming suffocating, and the ground beneath their feet felt as though it were alive, shifting, writhing. Ross screamed as something unseen tugged at him, pulling him away from the door and into the centre of the room. His hands scraped at the floor, leaving bloody marks on the stone as he was dragged toward the figure. No, 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 he shrieked, but there was no escape. The figure reached out, its withered hand curling around Ross's ankle, pulling him into the darkness. Help him, Callum screamed, rushing forward, but it was too late. Ross vanished into the shadow, his cries swallowed by the low, guttural growl that filled the room. The manor itself seemed to pulse now, the whispering returned, louder, more frantic. Something was waking, something ancient and ravenous. We have to go, Liam yelled, pulling at the door with all his strength, but it wouldn't open. We're trapped. Suddenly, the figure's eyes flared with a sickly yellow light. You awakened me, it whispered, its voice now blending with the manor itself, and now you will never leave. As the walls closed in and the darkness deepened, the boys could only scream, knowing that Dunraven Manor had claimed them, just as it had claimed so many others before. Outside, the storm blew, and the wind carried their cries into the night, lost to the whispering shadow. And so, Dunraven Manor claimed its latest victims, their cries forever lost in the whispers of the wind. But what about you? Would you dare set foot inside a place like Dunraven Manor? Or perhaps you already have. If you want more bone-chilling tales, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Because you never know when the next story will call you back into the shadows. Stay spooky, everyone.